Okay, so hello class, welcome to the first week
Mute,
of
mute dulu.
introduction to video games. So, and I hope in this course we will all learn new things about video games. I'm sure we all like to play video games, but hopefully we can learn something new here. So, the first week's topic is FPS games. Can anyone tell me the name of the game on the top right? Any volunteers?
Hello,
CSGO.
sir.
Oh yes, correct. It's CS:GO. Thank you for answering. And how about in the bottom right? It's okay if you don't know. It's okay if you're wrong. Just
Hello, sir.
yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Uh, Before I would like to answer, I would like to introduce myself. I'm
Okay.
Hakal Anwar. I'm from environmental engineering. I'm taking this study as my extra scores on my report card soon. I
Yes.
would like to answer your question.
Okay.
I believe that game in the bottom right would be Rainbow Six Siege, if I'm not wrong,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you for your introduction. Yes, correct. This is Rainbow Six Siege. It's a very popular game. So, what is an FPS game itself? Yeah. So, the word FPS actually you might already know this. It stands for first person shooter. And basically, you can probably guess it's just a shooter free game, but the player perspective is in the first person, so it's very broad. Now, this FPS is very popular nowadays. Does anyone know why? Some ideas, maybe? Once again, it's okay to be wrong. I just want to hear your ideas. Okay. Okay, I guess I'll have to call someone since no one is answering. Uh, Yarin. Is there a Yarin here? Oh, okay. I guess it looks like some of you guys fall asleep already in my class. Uh, I don't know what's happening, but I guess I'll just tell you. So, FPS games are popular because they are fun. Yeah, that is the answer. So, let's just move on to the basic FPS mechanics. Uh, so here are the 5 core mechanics in FPS: aiming, movement, utilities, map awareness, and game sense. You might already know these, and there's quite a lot. Okay, so and they are all very intricate and deep. It is impossible to master these in a short time. A year is not even enough. It takes many years of practice. So make sure to practice frequently, because it will help you guys in the future for sure. Okay, so let's get into some more material here. We will now discuss the weapon archetypes in video games. These are the common types of weapons. So the first one is the pistol. Usually it is weak and only effective in short ranges. Obviously, there are some exceptions like the Desert Eagle, but typically they fall into this category. An example is the classic in Valorant. You may have heard it. It's the free weapon that every character gets. Alright, at the start of the round. Next is the SMG. SMG stands for submachine gun. It is has a high rate of fire, and you can really usually run around with it. It has high mobility as well, but it's compared to other weapons, it has quite low damage. Its typically damage is around the same as a pistol per bullet. Obviously, it shoots more bullets, so it does more damage in the same time frame, and it's usually only effective to short, medium ranges. At longer ranges, it's usually has a high damage drop off and doesn't do much damage. An example will be the MPX in Rainbow Six Siege. You might be aware of this. Now, here is the other weapon types, such as the assault rifle. I'm sure you already know this one. The assault rifle is the most frequently used gun in FPS games. It is the defining gun, as I say here, and it is usually effective in all ranges. It's usually best in medium ranges, but it can be used in every range. There's a medium amount of damage. In most FPS games, it usually takes 4 to 5 hits to the body with an assault rifle, Obviously, you can headshot, which will do much more damage, but we'll discuss headshots on a future date during the aiming course. And an example of the assault rifle is the AK-47 in CSGO. It is the trademark weapon of CSGO, I think. You should already know this. But moving on, with the sniper rifle. Sniper rifles are highly effective in long range. You might already be familiar with the term one shot, one kill. That's because snipers do very high damage. But they are usually expensive or have a low rate of fire. They take very long to shoot. One such example of this is the SMLE Mark III in Battlefield 1. There is no price tag, but it takes a very long time to shoot every bullet, and you can easily be rushed by opponents using submachine guns or something else. That's basically the classic counter to sniper rifles. Okay, so that's all the weapon archetypes we will discuss. There are other weapons, such as the Negev here in this picture, and I urge all of you to frequently experiment with new weapon types, because if you get to know the ups and downs of every weapon, then you can master them all or counter them all. It's very useful. Okay, now this is the next topic we will discuss: utility. Now, FPS games are dynamic. The one player in an FPS game can majorly affect the outcome, especially in 5v5 shooters such as CSGO or Valorant. Now, one of the ways players can affect the outcome is by using utility. We will just discuss three types of utility which are common today, which are smokes, flashes, and mollies. Okay, so first we will begin with smokes. Smokes are used to visually block off locations of the map. Like in the picture here, there's a large gray smoke. It's visually blocked off, so you cannot see through it basically. And usually you use them when you want to take positions, or when you want to hold positions or delay advances by the enemy. And using them at the right time, at the right positions with your team is the key to victory. So basically you should use them when your team wants to go somewhere and there are too many angles to clear. Then that's when you want to begin using your smokes to block off these angles. Now watch out though, because they only visually block off, so some players like to push through smokes to surprise you, so watch out for that. Usually you want to have someone just prepared to watch the smoke in case for a push. And yeah, so next we have to begin discussing about flashes. You might already know this, but flashes will blind any player who sees it when it detonates. So I'm pretty sure you guys already know what blind means, right? So basically your screen just goes white or black, or you cannot see anything. Now, usually they are used for swiftly clearing angles compared to smokes, where smokes last longer. Flashes only last usually a second, 2 seconds, or even a fraction of a second. So once you flash, you have to go with the flash, or you can just wait for the opposing player to panic from the flash. So there are actually many types of things to do with flashes, but usually they are used for swiftly clearing angles and taking positions. Now, something to watch out. Usually in video games, flashbangs not only blind the enemy, but your team as well, and yourself as well. So you have to really be careful when using them so as to not grief. I'm sure you guys know what that word means by now, or it basically means helping the enemy team or destroying your team's performance. Right, so the last utility we'll discuss is the Molotov, mollies. Mollies physically block off. Notice the difference with smokes. Smokes visually block off, mollies physically block off. While you can still run through mollies usually, players that go inside a molly will take a large amount of damage. The most common molly is the Molotov grenade, which burns an area, and such as in the picture over here. Obviously, you don't want to go through that unless you absolutely have to. Usually Molotovs are quite expensive, so they should be used with discretion, and it's usually used to block off pushes. So when you know an enemy is about to push a position, you can Molotov it, and it will delay them and allow time for your team to help you. Now, this is just a quick topic we'll discuss for now, map awareness. So most FPS pros know the maps better than their own neighborhood, right? They know every call out, they know every nook and cranny, and since knowledge is pretty much half the battle, you really want to practice your map awareness. This skill is usually trained by just playing the game. It comes over time, but of course you can accelerate this process by studying offline. Obviously, studying offline is not enough. You also have to play the game, so make sure to play the game, you know. That's really the only way to get good. Finally, this is the advanced mechanics. We're not going to go too deep into them, but I'll just tell you some. There are jiggle peeking, saving. There's also, well, that's all the ones I can think of off the top of my head. But make sure to get familiar with these terms. They're common FPS lingo that you need to be aware of as well. But we will discuss them in a future date. Today is just the introduction. And okay, so we have reached the end of the presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
Sir, I would like to ask a question.
Yes, Hakal, right? Was your name? I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
yes,
forgot.
sure.
Yes, okay.
Regarding weapon archetypes,
Yes.
there seem to be a lot of archetypes, even with the presentation, and
Of
it
course.
turns out there are more types, such as the Negev, as you said in the
Yes.
presentation. So my question is that how do we know in almost every game what weapon archetype we should pick, sir?
Okay, so as I said, every weapon is suited for one task. So, in some games, there is an economy, and you really want to take care of your economy. You want to buy the perfect gun for the round. So there's something called a save round in which you buy cheap weapons. So typically at that point you'd buy pistols. There's something called a full buy round in which you have enough money to maximize your kit. So even if you have a lot of money, you don't want to splash out for sniper rifles, okay? You typically just want to buy the assault rifle because it's medium price and it's effective in all ranges. So usually people go for the assault rifles in these rounds. And there's also something called an anti-eco round in which you expect the enemy to get a eco. Apologies if this is too deep. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of eco rounds, but hopefully it'll make sense in the future. But basically anti-eco rounds means you expect the enemy to eco, so you purchase submachine guns or guns that are usually effective against pistols, but usually ineffective against rifles. So basically it depends on your play style, the position you will play, and your economy. That's what using a weapon boils down to.
Thank you, sir, for the answer.
Yes, of course. Is there any other question? Okay, great. I think that's enough for today's presentation. Don't forget to prepare for the quiz on Friday. We will be quizzed about this very topic, about video games. So make sure you're ready. It's at 5 p.m. I think I'll have to contact my teaching assistant. I'm not too sure. But yeah, so thank you, and you may leave the Zoom meeting now.